one.
I'm going to keep practicing pool, but...
Alright, all, if you just give us a sound check if you can hear us, okay? Yeah. Alright, Susie, can you hear us alright? Just excuse the video because I'm on holiday and it's not as strong Wi-Fi as what it is at home. Hello Richie, hi Susie, good sound, that's great. Durham Diver, hello mate, going for a draw, fantastic. Yeah, Borough sneaking into the playoffs, absolutely. Well, I'd rather have Middlesbrough than Coventry, put it that way. 2-1 win, Kev. It's massive country house, so that's not unusual setup at the moment. So if you can hear things, I'll probably put myself on mute. But I'm still on holiday and I'm still bringing you the commentary. So turn the Wi-Fi off because the it's not. No problem.
Do come over, it is good, and spend a lot of time with them as much as I can. And like I said, it's great to get the 3 points and score in front of them.
Total Sport North East
on the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Trey Hume, if you were listening earlier, we were talking about the character who works at West Bromwich Albion with a bandana and looks like Neil Young and could be an Eagle. Or what's he remind you of? What's his thing?
The set piece coach at Aston.
That's the one. That's the other one I've seen on TV. Yes, he is very similar.
Yes. It is good, and spend a lot of time with them as much as I can. Like I said, it's great to get the
keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. Trey Hume.
Total Sport North East
on the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively.
We're going to hear Reggie
live.
Fabrice. We're going to talk penalties. We talked penalties on Total Sport last night on BBC Radio Newcastle. Number one penalty taker, Trey Hume.
For me, Trey Hume. No nonsense, head down, power. That's who I put on him. Hopefully it doesn't get to penalties.
Yeah. That's the first hurdle, I suppose, to overcome. We're 9 minutes and 45 seconds away from kick-off. I can tell you that because that's what it says on the big screen in the corner above the away fans at the Smethwick end. There's glorious sunshine across 95%, in fact probably more than that, of the pitch this afternoon. We're sitting in the coldest part of the stadium where the wind is whistling through the TV gantry in the shade. But the temperature yesterday when we travelled down to the West Midlands was in the low 20s. I think it's lower than that today, but it's still nonetheless a beautiful day. It's a beautiful afternoon for football, and we will get underway, as I say, at 12:30. And following us, we'll have full commentary of Gateshead against Dagenham and Redbridge in the National League with Colin White and Paul Dixon. So a double bill of football for you on BBC Radio Newcastle. Sunderland unchanged, Patterson in goal, Brown, Mepham, O'Nien and Hume, Neil, Jobe, Roberts, Rigg, Mundle and Isidore. The bench is Moore, Anderson, Hjelde, Lavery, Jones, Alexic, Lefay, Watson and Mayenda. West Bromwich Albion, Joe Wildsmith in goal, Darnell Furlong, the son of Paul Furlong, you may remember back in the day. He comes back in after a 3-match suspension. Grady Diangana comes in for Mason Holgate, who's on loan from Everton but injured. Kyle Bartley and Torbjorn Hegem. And then Jason Malumbi, you think he'll play behind Adam Armstrong today?
I think I've got Callum Grant who's going to play.
Callum Grant, yeah, well he played up front with Armstrong last week.
Callum Grant will play behind Adam Armstrong. Right. Johnson will go wide, Diagano will go wide.
And Alex Mowat and Callum Stiles are the other players of the starting 11 for West Bromwich Albion. I'm just wondering, does it suggest that they're going to play 3 at the back?
No, I think what they'll play, I think Malumbi will play further in midfield. He'll play in midfield with Alex Mowat.
So who will replace Mason Holgate?
Furlong will go full back.
So who plays right back?
Daniel Furlong is a full-back.
Yeah.
He'll go in at right back.
Yeah.
And Alex Mowat and Malumbi will play the two centre midfielders.
But who will play the two? Who will be the two centre backs?
No, the two centre backs is Bartley.
Yeah.
And Hegham.
So Styles will play left back.
Styles will play left back.
Right.
Dean Garner will play wide right.
Yeah.
Johnson will play wide left.
Yeah.
Callum Grant will play as a 10.
As a 10.
And Adam Armstrong will play as an out-and-out striker.
Right.
That's how I've got them down.
Okay, that's cleared it all up.
Yeah.
We'll wait for kickoff. And clear it up again. Let's hear from the Sunderland head coach, Régis Lebris.
On one the playoffs, there could be penalty shootout.
Yeah, maybe. It might be a blessing in disguise. So I think in that circumstances, we are aware that this part of the game is very important, and could be an opportunity for us. I want to see the positive outcome of this situation, which is really unusual again. It affected the outcome of different games. For example, at Burnley, I think it was.
Yep, so we hopefully can hear you a bit better now.
And but we are still in a good place with these playoffs at the end of the season. It's not done, but the dynamic is really positive, and we know that we have to improve this part of our game. So we started last week, and we spoke a lot with the players how we can manage this situation properly, and it will be a good topic during the training sessions.
Has there been a discussion about who's going to take them? Because Wilson said that he was more than happy to still take penalties. Luke, from what we know of him, is actually a good penalty taker. So that was a bit of a surprise at the weekend. Romain obviously threw his hat in the ring at the weekend as well.
Yes, emotional. It was emotional, and we need emotions. So I think it's positive, sometimes negative, but we have to deal with the situation, so it's not a problem. And at least they are involved and they want to score. We still have an opponent. The goalkeeper can make saves, and for example, Trafford did well, and Case against Millwall as well. So we'll make a decision, and it will be clear for everyone. Yeah.
Have you spoken to Romain? I mean, I know you're right. You want passion, you want emotion, but I think it did affect him on the pitch. That argument with Dan, and then his reaction to it.
Yeah, a little bit, but we have young players. They are really well connected. They want to score. They want to be an important part of the team. So the negative side is sometimes you are too emotional, and you have to manage this emotion a bit later. So we spoke a lot. So it's solved, and move on.
And I think perhaps we have to give some credit to the two goalkeepers as well, because Trafford is 6'7", so he's not the smallest, and Jensen's 6'6". I don't think Issidor's penalties were particularly bad penalties, so perhaps some credit to the goalkeepers.
Yeah, sure. We shot into the target, so so at least the goalkeeper has to make a save. After every missed penalty, we can analyze the situation, but on the pitch it's more difficult because it's a tense situation, and it's not an easy one. So I repeat, we want to learn from these experiences, and I hope it will be a positive outcome at the end of the season.
And talking of hitting the target, sort of briefly mentioned it after Millwall, you do create a lot of chances, but you're not getting probably the reward that your build-up play is demanding. I mean, Job had 3 strikes blocked. Patrick had 1 tip round the post. Is it an area of concern for you? You've talked about being more clinical this season.
Yeah, I think it's important. The first idea is to create chances, and against Millwall we created more chances than the games before, when I think we struggled a little bit more. So it was positive, this reaction against Millwall, especially against a strong team out of position. So I think the dynamic was positive. After that, we have to be clinical, and especially at the end of the season, because we know that the difference can be made at this point. One chance, one goal, and if we can create more chances and be more clinical, we'll be more comfortable.
Yeah, cheers, Simon. Thanks a lot,
From
King.
the weekend, and I think it's
Yeah, just bear with us a second with the voice.
surrounding the
Hopefully
game.
people listen to the match.
Tony Mowbray obviously being back in management and at West Brom now. And I know, I think when you arrived, or just before you arrived, you spoke to Tony, and he I think gave you advice about Sunderland. In what do you remember of that conversation? What is what he said to you? Is it sort of rung true about your time here?
It was a friendly conversation without many advices. So I was happy to meet him, and he's a friendly guy, very easy to speak with. So it was just a friendly conversation.
And West Brom, look, one of your rivals, that potentially you could be playing them again in the playoffs.
Yeah, they are a good team, and good in possession, very well organized, with good players. I think we dominated the first leg without scoring, and this game will be different. It will be an away game, maybe, yes, could be a fixture in playoffs. So still important to play this game with 100% of our best football, and we'll see the outcome.
Total Sport Northeast.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Tony Mowbray on the touchline in his cardigan. Hands deep, Tony Mowbray, Regis Lebris standing in his technical area with his hands deep in his pockets. And it's a beautiful afternoon here in the West Midlands.
The heat will be turned right up.
Well, as you made the point to me just a moment ago, Adam Armstrong will be desperate to score.
He will be desperate, I'm telling you now. He'll be trying really, really hard. And, you know, as a player, you're just thinking,
up through the middle, sweeping away towards the left-hand side. It comes down for Dan Neal. He brings it down in front of Mowat, out to Mundle on the left of the penalty area. Ball into the box, but it's cleared by Mowat from 17 yards from the goal line. Comes back out to Job, and then down the right, it's Furlong who hooks it away. He's come back from a 3-match suspension, having been sent off at Queen's Park Rangers. Son of Paul Furlong, former Queen's Park Rangers player, of course. Flag up here. Offside against Wilson Isidore. Sunderland, Patterson in goal. Brown, Mepham, O'Nien and Hume. Neal and Job, Roberts, Rigmundle and Isidore. West Bromwich Albion, of course, in their blue and white stripes, white shorts and white socks. Wildsmith in goal. Furlong, Bartley, Hegham and Callum Stiles here on the ball at the moment on the left-hand side. Dean Garner on the wing. Also Malumbi, Mowat in midfield, Grant behind Adam Armstrong. goalkeeper Joe Wildsmith, all in yellow, who came into the team on February the 8th, has been pretty much ever present since then. He gets the ball back here at the edge of his 6-yard box in the shadow cast by the roof of the Smethwick end, in which all the Sunderland fans are housed this afternoon. So half that stand is full of red and whites. Stiles down the left, looking to try and get the ball.
That's a foul.
Yeah, forwards to Johnston. Mikey Johnston, I forget to mention him before, on the left wing, former Celtic midfielder. Free kick, Roberts takes it back to Mepham, then to O'Nien, who brings it into the West Bromwich Albion half. Is fouled. It's a free kick on the left of central midfield, a third of the way inside the Baggies half. The stadium holds just under 27,000. It'll be pretty much full. There's a few empty seats in the West Brom section of the home end at the right of us in the Smethwick end. Free kick will be taken by Roberts. It was Trey Hume sized it up and then left it for Roberts to take. Dan Neil goes back into the centre circle. Sunderland looking for 3 straight wins here for the first time since the 1890s. Roberts ball in, headed out by Furlong, straight to Armstrong, who's taken it into the Sunderland half. He's gone wide, Adam Armstrong, and he's made a mistake, slipped it inside, straight to the path of Mundle. Back to Hume, forwards now to Roberts and Neil, and then back behind him is Rigg, and Rigg gets it out to Mundle. Little flick over Furlong, but Furlong recovers and puts the ball out for a Sunderland throw. Bright start by Sunderland. We're in the 4th minute. West Bromwich Albion 0, Sunderland 0. This throw a third of the way inside the West Bromwich Albion half on the left-hand side. Again in shade cast by the roof of the east stand. Back to Hume, and then back again to Luke O'Nien. Across to Chris Mepham. Mepham closed down, but he gets the ball up away from Carlan Grant, but straight back to Joe Wildsmith, the West Bromwich Albion keeper. Out to Callum Stiles. Remember the bizarre fact that he's a Hungarian international. That's courtesy of his grandmother. The ball played wide to the right and swept down the right wing, comes all the way back to Anthony Patterson, who'll get a tan today on those bare arms in this wonderful sunshine. We've seen so little of it this season. It's lovely to be basking in these conditions.
Yeah, it's been lovely the last few days, hasn't it?
Mepham on the right. Tries to turn away from Carlan Grant, held him off, gets the ball up. Hegum, the Norwegian international, lays it off to Stiles, back inside then to Kyle Bartley. Bartley at the edge of the West Bromwich Albion penalty area, closed down by Isidore, wide to Furlong. Darnell Furlong up onto the halfway line. Malumbi lays it back into the middle, and it's out to Grant on the left and out wide again to Johnston. Mikey Johnston now taking this on, slipping it down to Dean Garner, and a good tackle by Mepham.
Great tackle.
On the goal line, and then Mepham plays the ball up to the halfway line. Hegum stabs it forwards here, looking for Grant. Stiles back to Grant as Roberts tries to tackle him. It comes back to Callum Stiles. Stiles on the halfway line in the centre, lays it behind him to Kyle Bartley, who waits for a moment before playing it to Hegum, then out to Grant again on the left, just inside the Sunderland half. Johnston leaves it now, eventually left for Callum Stiles by Alex Mowat. Here's Mowat again, and Mowat left of central midfield, taps it back to Stiles. He plays a ball diagonally across to the far side, looking for Furlong. Furlong inside then to Dean Garner, I think it is, who's come away with the ball into the penalty area, trying to pull it back on the goal line. Another great tackle there. Armstrong picks the loose ball up, comes to the back of the area, calls to shoot, but it's played all the way back in the end to Callum Stiles.
Good defending.
And then in the middle to Hegum again. Down the right from Malumbi. to Armstrong, inside to Mowat at the corner of the Sunderland penalty area. Armstrong again to Mowat, but stabbed away by Chris Rigg. West Brom win it back again into Malumbi, edge of the area, won again by Chris Rigg, and he drives it up to the halfway line, trying to get Isidore away, but Bartley makes the block there for West Bromwich Albion. Coventry 1, Burnley 0, just up the road, as the ball played down the right, but Patterson was aware of the danger and smothered it quickly. 7 minutes in, West Bromwich Albion 0, Sunderland 0. Good atmosphere, always is at the Hawthorns.
It is indeed, yeah.
As everyone's always quick to point out, the highest ground in England, above sea level in that respect. Here's Rigg out on the right to Alan Brown. Brown does well here. He's managed to play away from Mikey Johnston, gets the ball behind him to Rigg. Rigg swings it across to the far side to Trey Hume. Hume bringing this forwards now on the left for Sunderland. Inside to Job. Job on halfway. Armstrong on his shoulder. Job turns and makes some space. Plays it out to Mepham on the right on the halfway line. Brown is wide. Mepham goes inside. Plays it to O'Nien on halfway. And O'Nien brings this into the West Bromwich Albion half and plays a pinpoint pass to Mundle down the left wing. Mundle's ball in here, looking to get it to Isidore. It's put behind for the first corner of the game.
Good play. Excellent play by Sunderland.
Yeah, very quick.
Yeah.
And accurate passing. Clinical passing. As Hume goes across then in front of the Sunderland fans. Most of the penalty area in shadow. O'Nien comes up. Mepham comes up. Rigg just outside the D. Mundle as well. Dan Neil back in the centre circle.
Another training ground one.
I wonder, yeah. Could be Workshaw to Roberts. It's whipped in by Hume, but it's cleared by Malumbi. Comes out to Mundle, who lofts it over.
It's never set right.
Over the top of the goal into the Sunderland fans. 0-0 still. Joe Wildsmith, 29 years old, former Sheffield Wednesday Derby keeper, signed from Derby in the summer. Puts the ball down in the middle of his 6-yard line. Both centre-backs well wide of him in the penalty area. Ball floats out. For a throw to Sunderland on the left, at the foot of the east stand. Laid off by O'Nien, back to Hume, who took the throw, back to Mepham in the middle of the Sunderland half. And Mepham, closed down by Grant, plays it back to Patterson, out to Job. 4 1-all draws in their last 6 games, West Bromwich Albion. Whistle's blown, free kick to West Bromwich Albion, just back inside their own half. The last 7 games, I should say. There's the ball now wide on the left to Johnston. Runs into Alan Brown. The ball slipped back behind to Job. Inside to Mepham. And Mepham looking for the run of Mundle. Drops over Furlong's shoulder, back to the goalkeeper, who comes out to the edge of his area to cleanly catch the ball. We played 10 minutes. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. West Bromwich Albion 0, Sunderland 0. 6th it was last night until Middlesbrough played against 4th. But Middlesbrough's 2-0 win at Blackburn means they are now in 6th place in the Championship, putting more pressure on West Bromwich Albion. Grant out to Johnston, edge of the penalty area. Into the penalty area he goes, onto his right foot, shoots, it's blocked. It bounces free here, it's kept in, is it? Flag stays down. Grant has it, he's got Styles behind him, rolls it back to Johnston. Johnston blocked here by Rigg, who's sticking with him. Johnston comes back, plays it back to Hegham, just inside the Sunderland half. Now out to Johnston again on the left, to Colin Grant again on that left wing. He looks up and then taps it behind him to Mowat. Mowat with his left curls the ball into the penalty area, over Furlong's shoulder, over Hume, and out for a throw to Sunderland on the far side.
Yeah, and I think what we've picked up already in the first 10 minutes, Nick, is that, you know, the both teams want to play football, don't they? It's a
trying to play it through,
game,
aren't
yeah.
they? Nobody's looking for the long ball over the top at the moment. West Bromwich Albion lost at Norwich last time out. Drew here, 1-1 with Hull, and they beat Queen's Park Rangers here 1-0 in the home game before that. That was the game in which Darnell Furlong was sent off. Here's Styles on the halfway line into the Sunderland half in their blue and white stripes. The lower half of the Birmingham Road end is bathed in sunshine. The upper half probably feeling quite chilled in the shade. The ball with Bartley out wide on the right to Furlong, halfway inside the Sunderland half. Back again to Bartley and then to Hegem in the middle. He lays it off to Styles to his left, and Callum Styles slips it through the middle, looking for Armstrong, tackled though by Mepham, one back by Mowat, lost again to Dan Neil. Little flick from Isidore, but he couldn't get it to Mundle. Furlong was back to Hegem, now to Styles. Styles out wide to Johnston again in front of Tony Mowbray pretty much. Goes round Brown, slips the ball through to Grant on the left of the penalty area. He rolls it into the penalty box. It's punched in the air away from on the goal line, a block, and then Johnston's gone down. He was taken
great tackle
down, but the ball was played. It was a very good tackle.
It's a great tackle.
West Brom fans feel there should have been a penalty. The referee's going back to make sure that Johnston's all right. Patterson's on his back.
That was a great tackle. I tell you what, even Patterson did well there when the ball's come in. He's got his punch to it, got his hand to it. But what a tackle that was from Joe Bellingham.
It was a terrific tackle. I'm not sure if it was Dean Garner or Furlong in front of Patterson, but Patterson had to punch it clear because the ball was right down his throat in the 6-yard box. Johnston causing all sorts of problems for Sunderland then, but then basically being taken out by Joe.
Great tackle.
So there'll be a drop ball when we resume in the middle. The players coming over for drinks. And Johnson's fine, back up on his feet. Patterson's still receiving treatment. The referees had a conversation with Mikey Johnston.
Yeah, we've just got to be aware of that. It's great trickery by Johnson there to get himself inside the box.
Republic of Ireland international.
Yeah.
Born in Scotland, incidentally, born in Glasgow, but he changed his allegiance to the Republic. He comes across to the touchline. None the worse for that tackle. Patterson's up on his feet. We're in the 15th minute here at the Hawthorns, and it's 0-0. If you're just joining us on BBC Radio Newcastle, unchanged Sunderland team with Hume at left back, Brown at right back. Tony Mowbray smiling, enjoying his moment in the sun. Johnston waiting to come back onto the pitch. Plays resume. Job is on the ball, plays it out to Hume on the left-hand side, back to Job. Job squares it to Mepham. Luton 1, Leeds 0. Leeds on a poor run at the moment. Changed the goalkeeper today as well. Dropped Meslier and brought in Carl Darlow, and losing 1-0 at Luton. And it would be, I mean, wouldn't it be extraordinary? But every time you talk to Leeds fans, they fear Leeds are going to implode at the end of the season and again.
Yeah.
And miss out on automatic promotion. But we'll see. A poor ball has given possession back to West Bromwich Albion here. Armstrong to Mowat. Mowat now out to Furlong on the far side. Halfway inside the Sunderland half. Plays it back. I've got Furlong on my mind. Queen's Park Rangers.
Queen's Park Rangers, yeah. Stripes.
Yeah, stripes. Or they're playing hoops. It doesn't matter. It's blue and white, isn't it? Here's Styles, edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Job controls it, nods it away. It falls to Mowat, now Malumbi. And now Job again puts his foot on it through to Dan Neil. Neil trying to get away from Malumbi, can't. Goes down, but no foul, says Tom Neild. And Furlong now on the right-hand side, just inside the Sunderland half. A reminder, we have a game on Tuesday night Sunderland away at Norwich City at Carrow Road. We'll have full commentary of that on BBC Radio Newcastle. On Monday night we've got Leicester City against Newcastle United, full commentary with Razor and Ando. Here's Grant. Oh, he's being tackled brilliantly by Mepham in the penalty area. I think Grant lost his nerve a little bit then, because Mepham slid in.
But he had to make sure
Grant,
he got it right, didn't he?
Jumped over him.
Yeah. Got to be aware of that. You know, Grant is the one who's playing in the 10 position, and he's making them runs from deep.
Corner then to West Bromwich Albion on the left-hand side at the foot of the Birmingham Road stand.
No free headers.
It's played back to the corner of the penalty area to Diangana, who plays it back to Mikey Johnston. It comes out then to eventually from Mowat back to Callum Styles. Coventry won Burnley 1. The ball floated up towards Bartley, comes to Mowat, and from 18 yards he sends it sailing high over the top into the stand, and it's a goal kick to Sunderland. 17 minutes played, 0-0. So many teams will take points off each other in the coming weeks. West Bromwich Albion, they have Bristol City, Watford and Coventry to play, and then Derby, Cardiff and Luton, all their games. The teams have something to play for in the run into the end of the season. Malumbi trying to slip the ball through to Mowat. It comes eventually to Johnston on the touchline with Malumbi, who gets it back. Well, a flick from Roberts inside to Chris Rigg, and Johnston was all over him. Malumbi was all over him. Johnston's down again on the left. He picks
he's up again now.
He's up now.
Hold on.
The ball on the touchline with Mikey Johnston.
I don't like that.
He was looking for the free kick, didn't get it. Suddenly he's back in action, and Grant down in the corner on the left-hand side, being hauled around by Mepham at the moment, but Mepham puts the ball out in the end.
Well done. He's looking for a foul, isn't he, Johnson?
He was. Styles with the throw in front of Tony Mowbray, back to Malumbi on the halfway line on the left-hand side. Malumbi swinging it across to the far touchline. Furlong heads it out. Bit ambitious, the pass.
It was indeed.
So a throw which Trey Hume takes back to O'Nien. O'Nien back to Anthony Patterson. 19th minute. And here's Mepham. Forwards to Rigg. And plays a little bit of a loose ball, which O'Nien does run onto, but then plays out off Furlong for a throw just inside the Sunderland half on the left. Rigg seems to be dropping much deeper. I don't know, is it me, or is he dropping a lot deeper than...
Who's that?
Chris Rigg.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know if that's because he's having to defend more. They've not really got an outlet ball at the moment, Sunderland. It's a free kick to...
Well, I think that's
West
where, that's where we spoke about Mayenda. He gives you that little bit, something different up front, where he makes them runs behind, doesn't he?
Mundle and Roberts are isolated, aren't they, on the wings? Here's Callum Styles inside the Sunderland half. Forwards again to Grant, who plays it back to Hegum, the edge of the centre circle. Bartley sweeps it down the right wing. Furlong inside to Adam Armstrong, closed down by Job. Loose ball is cleared by Mepham up to the halfway line. Isidore, his head on it, but Mundle's behind him. It's basically straight back to West Bromwich Albion, but Isidore's down. Referee stop play.
Tell you what, the referee's very considerate today, isn't he?
He is a bit. But Isidore sitting up, just holding the lower back. So another stoppage. Nearly halfway through the first half. West Bromwich Albion 0, Sunderland 0.
I think I agree with what you're saying, Nick. We've got to try to get Roberts and Mundle and even Isidore more involved in the game.
Yeah. I just sense Sunderland actually being forced back too much at the moment. They're not, when they're clearing the ball, it's going straight back to West Bromwich Albion at the moment. And
especially down this left-hand side, you've seen Johnson getting more involved on this left-hand side. He's getting more of the balls. Styles.
Referee drop ball then to Carl Bartley on halfway, and he floats it up towards the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Mepham heads it out to Job. Job back to Mepham. Squares it to O'Nien. Armstrong went to close him down. O'Nien puts his foot through it. Out it goes on halfway. Isidore's waiting there to come back on. Stretching. Throw, which Bartley. Well, Bartley took it from one side of the pitch.
Never seen that one before.
Bartley's a yard on the pitch.
He's on the pitch.
And he took a throw back to
It's something
Furlong.
balls then, isn't it, referee? What are you doing?
The referee's saying now, he's allowing West Bromwich Albion
Well
to retake the throw.
Kyle
But that's
Bartley.
a foul throw,
What was he
isn't
doing?
it? Furlong takes it back to Bartley now. And back again to Wildsmith. And Alan Brown, he came off his foot for Mikey Johnston, and now Grant ahead of him. Brown trying to win it back, but Grant manages to get it to Johnston down the left of the penalty area, crosses, and O'Nien puts his foot through it. Over Callum Styles' shoulder, Riggs trying to win it from him, and the flag is up, and it's a
offside again. Offside.
Rigg thought it was
good battling by Chris Rigg.
It was, and I think he felt it was a free kick for a foul, but it's offside against Isidore, who's back on. He's still rubbing his back, and it's not entirely comfortable. Mowat then back to Bartley in the West Bromwich Albion half. We are halfway through the first half. It's 0-0 at the Hawthorns. Hegham, and he just slips it to Bartley on his right hand side, then Bartley out to Furlong. Furlong in the Sunderland half, gets it down the line to Diangana, trying to get it back to Furlong, but he's still got it. Diangana battling away with Trey Hume, who wins the battle, finds O'Nien, and he launches it up over the halfway line. Hegham brings it down back to the goalkeeper, and Isidore goes to close him down. It's played out to Hegham. Rigg is there, but Hegham gets it to Bartley. Bartley now looking for Johnston on the left wing. Perfect pass, drops to him in front of Alan Brown, and he slips it inside to Grant, back to Johnston, runs into Job though, and Job now trying to get away from Mowat, who's pulling him, but Job's away through the middle here. Job still going, Job slipping it to Mundle at the corner of the penalty area on the left, and Mundle holding off Malumbi, and now slipping it to Rigg in the penalty area on the left, back to Mundle on the 18-yard line, shoots! Oh, visit across the face of goal.
That was close. Excellent play. I tell you what,
great counter-attack from Joe.
It just seemed Joe Bellingham at his best there, driving forward. He couldn't stay with him. Good ball into Mundle. He's come back, but he's not far away with that effort there.
Mundle not far wide. So 0-0 still. I mean, I think the possession stats are going to be heavily in favour of West Bromwich Albion, but there's the threat. Sunderland on the counter-attack for once. O'Nien will have to be sharp here. Adam Armstrong tried to break away from him, but the referee's blown for a foul by the Newcastle-born, Newcastle United fan, former Newcastle United player, known so well by Tony Mowbray from his time at Blackburn, on loan from Southampton. Job to Neil, out to Mundle on the left wing. Mundle inside then to Hume, who slides it up to Isidore, trying to find Rigg. It could break for Roberts on the right, on the goal line, pulls it back, cleared for a corner.
Play.
Sunderland, a little bit of a purple patch for Sunderland. Patrick Roberts will take the corner on the right. Sunderland second in the shadow here. 16 yards of shadow cast by the Smethwick Road roof, and the 6-yard box jam-packed. Little back heel attempted by Mepham, but it's broken here on the left for Mikey Johnston. He slips inside of Hume, who's out on the right-hand side, now has to come and back and try and win it off Grant with Roberts. Roberts manages to knock the ball out. Throw to West Bromwich Albion now inside to Mowat, back to Styles, and it taps it forwards to Grant. Job trying to get the ball off him, and he does. He finds Rigg looking to launch the ball down the left for Mundell, but Furlong's going to get in front of him and out for a throw to West Bromwich Albion. Furlong goes to recover the ball in the corner in the 27th minute. 0-0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Later on this afternoon, Gateshead at home to Dagenham and Redbridge. Colin White and Paul Dixon.
Where's he going, referee? Gosh, he's what, 10 yards further
He's got 18 yards, hasn't he? He's referee's been a bit lax when it comes to throws. It's taken another few yards. It drops to Trey Hume though, and now Mowat back to Furlong on the touchline, looking to play it through the middle. It comes straight to Alan Brown, and Brown taps it to Mepham just inside him. Mepham across to O'Nien. O'Nien into the West Bromwich Albion half. Adam Armstrong on his shoulder. He plays it back to Patterson. Out in the midfield. Forwards to Mepham. Luton one, Leeds one now. And Patterson, Armstrong whipped the ball off his foot, but he had too much pace on it, and Mepham is able to clear it. And now Brown again trying to head it over the shoulder of Hegum. He gets it back to the goalkeeper. Isidore goes with him. Hegum goes down. Hegum stays down. The flag comes up for a throw to Sunderland, but it's given the referee a chance. Brown takes the throw while the referee's still down having a look at what the problem is with Hegum, so Brown will have to take the throw again. The irony here is that he'll probably get penalised for taking the foul throw now. Regis Lebris is having a conversation with Dan Neil. Hegum is going to receive some treatment here, and it's quite a lengthy conversation between Dan Neil and Regis. A lot of pointing going on, and Job's been called across now as well.
I think he's just trying to maybe that outlet, you know, get him turned.
Hegum just sitting at the edge of the corner of the side of the penalty area being treated. 29th minute, no goals, not really any clear-cut chances. Patterson's had to punch one clear. Mundell had a smashing shot across the face of goal just wide. Other than that, a lot of possession by West Bromwich Albion. But Sunderland looked sharp on that counter-attack which led to the Mundell chance, if they could maybe get more joy in that area. Hegum's back up on his feet. He's just being ushered off by the referee. And the referee blowing to get everybody back from the touchline into the middle. And it will be a throw when we resume. Here, just down below us, as we look down from the gantry, Alan Brown.
Throw in, so.
Yeah, the referee's just confirming to him it is a throw. Alan Brown then. Referee just waiting a moment for everybody to get back on. Brown back to Mepham. Took it on his chest and passes it along the halfway line to O'Nien and out to Hume. On the far touchline, back to Neil, just inside the West Bromwich Albion half. Behind him is O'Nien, forwards again to Dan Neil. Neil, Mepham in the centre circle, and he looks up, and it's just banks of blue and white shirts in front of him at the moment. Hegum waiting to come back on again. Back to O'Nien, now to Neil again. Neil down the left, looking for an opening, goes wide to Hume. Hume back to Mundell. Mundell again, closed down by Furlong. Back to O'Nien, to Mepham at the front of the centre circle, and Mepham with Grant on his shoulder back again to Patterson, just outside the penalty area in midfield. He plays it with his left out to the left wing. Hume heads it on, keeps it in, headed away by Bartley, drops for Dan Neil in the middle, plays it out wide here to Roberts. Roberts styles in front of him, corner of the penalty area. Roberts still has it in the box now on his left, tries a shot, took a deflection for a corner.
Excellent pass by Dan Neil.
Sunderland's third corner. Roberts jogging down to take it on the right-hand side. Referee, what's he seen here? There's a loose ball just behind the goal. He wants removed. Wildsmith just
Mundell's gone down.
Taps it back, and Mundell, yeah, Mundell's sitting down now at the edge of the D. And Pete Brand is ushered on by the referee. Hopefully that's not another hamstring issue for Romain Mundell. Mayenda's taken off his training top. Is he coming on?
Mayenda's coming on.
It looks to me like this might be further problems for Mundell, because they are immediately going to make the change, and Mayenda's going to come on.
Interesting.
Yeah, and slightly worrying.
Could have put Watson on.
They could have done, couldn't they? But Mayenda it is who's going to replace Romain Mundell.
Mayenda will go out wide, will he?
I assume so. Will he play wide left? Mundell's helped to his feet, but he's going to come off. And this is a further frustration. Interesting, because he could have brought Lefebvre on, but obviously didn't feel like they wanted to bring him on the wing.
He could have put Lefebvre on, he could have put Watson on, he could have
done
Isidore out wide left and put Mayenda up the top. He's got options.
So Mayenda it's going to be. I mean, Isidore could go wide. And Mayenda will go up front. So Mundell being replaced by Eliza Mayenda. Gets to the touchline, shakes the hands of Regis Lebris and Mayenda. And Mayenda, quick last word from Alessandro Barcerini. And he comes on for this corner from the right. Roberts, Hume is in the corner as well on the touchline on the right hand side. Mayenda into the penalty area.
First touch,
Roberts with his left foot in towards the near post. It's headed away out to Hume, who brings it down, leaves it for Dan Neil wide to Roberts. Roberts now dribbling to the corner of the penalty area, pulls it back to Hume, who puts it into the box, headed clear by Bartley, comes out to Mayenda, and Mayenda trying to come past Ian Garner. He goes past him, he's tripped. He tried to stay on his feet, Mayenda, he tugged back down, but it was too much.
Tell you what, good play again by Mayenda, strong.
Because he was away past him, he would have whipped that ball in. But it's a free kick to Sunderland, 34th minute, almost on the corner of the penalty area on the left-hand side. Everton 0, Arsenal 1.
The thing is, he'll come back from being away with the under-21s with Spain with a lot of confidence, won't he?
Yeah. Sunderland's under-21s incidentally drew 0-0 last night with Nottingham Forest at the Stadium of Light. Finn Geragusian playing again for the under-21s. I think we're going to hear a lot more about him in the next year or so.
Good free kick here.
35th minute. There's a line of players on the 6-yard box, 2 in the West Bromwich Albion wall. It's going to be taken by Hume. Whips it in with his right foot.
Oh!
Trey Hume!
Trey Hume, behave. Take a bow.
And he gives Sunderland the lead from the free kick.
Take a bow.
Terrific free kick from Trey Hume.
Another training ground. Excellent. What a strike that is.
Hit it sweetly. The right trajectory, the right height, left Joe Wildsmith with no chance into the corner, and Sunderland lead 1-0.
You've got to applaud that. Tell you what, 2 into 2 fantastic goals he scored.
Yeah, lovely goal. 2 lovely goals.
Tell you what, excellent. Tell you what, that's put another price on his head. You know, because he can assist. He's got, what, 5 or 6 assists this season.
Well,
2 strikes.
It's the point I was making to Regis Lebris this week about him playing on the left allows him to exploit his right foot, because he cuts in on his right now.
Just imagine him from the penalty spot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm trying not to, but you
No
never
messing,
know.
is there?
No, there isn't.
He strikes a sweet ball. Yeah, sweet strike.
So Hume, third goal of the season, 2-2, and Sunderland lead by 1-0 in the 37th minute. And Isidore makes a challenge, it breaks here, back to Hegum, Roberts chases, back to the goalkeeper, the ball runs low and he gets it clear of Patrick Roberts onto the head of Trey Hume. He doesn't need us to tell you that, you can hear the Sunderland fans do it for us. Throw to West Bromwich Albion. Again, Bartley lobs the ball down to Furlong, who's taken an extra 10 yards. The referee let him take a few yards steps back, but not where the throw should have been taken. But it goes back to Wild Smith, the keeper. Ball in is yellow. Hegum out to Styles on this left-hand side, up towards Malumbi or Grant then to Diangana through the middle. Dan Neil chasing back, Diangana still going, edge of the area, looking for Furlong in the box. Oh, he's tripped, is he? He tripped, he fell round the back of Trey Hume, and the referee's now given a free kick to Sunderland.
Tell you what, the referee's done well there, because he should be booked.
He went down round the back of Hume, didn't he? Just got
He should be booked.
his feet tangled up, yeah.
Jobs picked up a knock.
Jobs, I think, he's crouched on the halfway line. But the referee's given a free kick for a foul eventually on O'Neill at the edge of the penalty area. 1-0 then, Sunderland lead with the 38th minute. There'll be a few minutes added on because there've been a few stoppages actually.
Yeah, Diangana should be booked for that.
Democratic Republic of Congo international Grady Diangana, former West Ham midfielder. Patterson placing the ball on the 18-yard line, but Job still receiving treatment. Dan Neil's crouched down with him. Referees come back now to assess the situation. We've already lost Mundle.
You don't want to lose Bellingham.
You don't want to lose Job now. He's a bit of a... He's made of stern stuff, Job.
Big part, especially in that middle of the park.
He's okay. Coming off, he'll come back on in a few seconds. 30. Dan Neil having a conversation with the referee. Kyle Bartley's not happy about something. He's pointing back to the touchline to the referee. An arm's outstretched from Kyle Bartley now, but the referee ignores him entirely, and the ball, as I say, at the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Patterson will take the free kick. Job waiting to come back on. Kick from Patterson down the left, up goes Mayenda, comes back to Rigg, headed away again from the edge of the penalty area on the right by Furlong in the middle. Rigg just trying to dink it over the top to Isidore, but it didn't execute it very well, and Hegum heads it clear. Job still waiting to come back on. That's surely 30 seconds. Johnston trying to get away.
Well done, Robert.
And a great tackle by Roberts.
Excellent.
Inside to Dan Neil.
He's got to be quicker, Dan Neil.
He's
got to be
caught
quicker.
by Mowat. He gives away a free kick. Free kick taken quickly. Job allowed back on. Grant trying to slip the ball through to Armstrong. Armstrong to Johnston. Johnston in the penalty area. A block and then a tackle. Great tackle by Alan Brown for a goal kick.
We've got to move the ball a bit quicker. Dan Neil broke down there and allowed him to break. But excellent defending again.
1-0 to Sunderland. Interesting, the last time you'll remember when Tony Mowbray was in charge at West Bromwich Albion, we had a game here and both teams were involved in the race for promotion. And Tony Mowbray, funnily enough, made some comments about Sunderland which didn't go down well at the time. But as it turned out, Sunderland went on to get promoted, and West Bromwich Albion missed out that season, but then Tony Mowbray got them promoted the following season. Here's Hume, hooks the ball over his shoulder, looking for Mayenda, headed on though, and offside against Grant. Offside. Home fans and West Brom getting increasingly frustrated, and Tony Mowbray's not very happy either. He's come down to Ross Joyce, the
I don't know what he's complaining about.
official.
Tony, if you're offside position, foul or no foul, you're offside.
He's pointing away to the left. He's having a long, protracted conversation with the fourth official.
Sorry, Tony, we can't be on your side today.
O'Nien with the free kick to Trey Hume. Hume across now to Mepham. Mepham lifting one down the right, looking for Isidore. Hegem finds Styles though. And now tapped on for Mowat, looking for Mikey Johnston. Job sprinting back with him. Johnston, the edge of the area, on his right foot. It swings right rather than left. We've got a touch for a corner.
Tell you what, well done, Joe Bellingham. I tell you what, he smelt danger and he's got back there.
If that had swung to the left, that would have been top corner, but the wind and the touch took it away.
It's come off Bellingham.
Is it Bellingham? It just came off his foot, yeah.
Tell you what, he's smelt danger there, he's got back.
West Bromwich Albion's second corner from the right-hand side at the Woodman's corner, below the big screen with a thrush. And the ball headed clear by Hume from the 6-yard line. Yeah, the thrush with the ball, famous symbol of West Bromwich Albion, still sits on the big electronic scoreboard in that closed corner. The ball floated in here to Dean Garner. His header across the penalty area is hooked away by Hume. Comes back to Malumbi.
I think Patterson should have come for that. It's come a long way, that ball.
And here's Mikey Johnston again on the left-hand side. Just taps it out to Grant. Carlin Grant's cross to the far post. Palm behind by Patterson for another corner. In the closing stages then of the first half, Sunderland leading 1-0.
You've got to weather the storm, you've got to stand up here. No free headers again.
But West Brom get another corner. Away on the right-hand side again. Short this time to Dean Garner at the corner. Tap back and played in here and headed wide.
Free header.
From inside the 6-yard box.
Free header.
And trying to see, was it Mowat who missed the chance?
Malumbi.
No, it was
Malumbi.
Malumbi, wasn't it? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Malumbi. 4 yards out. He's headed wide. The goal was begging, really. So 1-0 still to Sunderland. 44th minute. Live here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Players heading towards this near touchline for Patterson's goal kick, which goes right down the other side and straight to Furlong. And it will come back for O'Nien to deal with. She puts high in the air, back up towards the halfway line. The touchline bounces out. Throw to West Bromwich Albion, just back inside their half on the right-hand side. Sunderland in their red and white stripes. Here's Bartley. We're in the last minute of the 45. I'm guessing 3 to 4 minutes will probably be added on. Here's Johnston, back to Styles. Styles, socks roll down into Hegem. And the 6'6" Norwegian plays it back out to Styles, who whips it down the left wing to Johnston. Caught him on the chin actually when it bounced up, but he's still got it. Job in front of him. He cuts inside, trying to shake off Job, who's sticking with him. And Johnston eventually back into the centre circle to Bartley. And Bartley to Hegem on the centre spot, looking for Dean Garner, who skips past Dan Neal, shoots and just over the bar.
That was close.
Not far over. Goal kick, and we will have 9 minutes.
Wow. Where did you get 9 minutes from?
I'm not quite sure where 9 minutes came from.
Where's 9 minutes come from?
But we have 9 minutes of added time. I mean, there have been 3 or 4 stoppages, a couple of minutes each time. I'd have thought 6, 7 minutes, maybe maximum. 9 it is. Sunderland leading 1-0. And we're in the first of those 9 minutes. Patterson's goal kick. And the ball bounces out for a throw to Sunderland on the right here below us. right below us. If we hang out over the gantry, we'd fall into the paddock. And Roberts is going to lead this throw for Alan Brown. There's a West Bromwich Albion fan sitting right down in front of us, down in the front row, who's the father of one of the mascots, and he's clearly been to the ball back in the Sunderland half. You're not missing anything. He's clearly been to the club shop today, because I noticed him earlier. Why is that?
He might want to return the shirt after the game.
You may well be right. Free kick to Sunderland in their
He's not
half.
daft.
No.
After the game, he'll go back and he said, "Oh, it doesn't fit.
Yeah, it doesn't fit this."
Get me money back."
Again, West Brom fans unhappy with the decision. Free kick to Sunderland inside the Sunderland half. Even Mark Vina's come out now for a word from a couple of feet back from the fourth official. He's made his views clear. Mepham takes the free kick. We've played 2 minutes of the minimum 9 that have been added on. Sunderland leading 1-0. And in the other 2 games that kicked off at 12:30, it's 1-1 in both of them, Leeds Luton and Coventry Burnley. Or Luton Leeds, I should say, as Wilson Eastaugh battles with Hegum. Hegum hooks it back up into midfield. Joe with his eye on it, but it drops for Carlan Grant, who heads it down. It comes up awkwardly, and Meander fouls along him. Ironic cheers from the West Brom fans, who finally feel the decision's gone their way. 48th minute. Here's Hegum, takes the free kick, slip past Grant. Brown then plays it, tried to get it to Roberts, but it bounces away out for a throw, which Styles takes back to Hegum. Hegum across to Kyle Bartley, signed from Swansea in 2018. He's been here a good few years now, Kyle Bartley. Ball goes out. Furlong's taking it out inside the Sunderland half on the right wing. Throw then, which Trey Hume takes a ball off one of the cones, puts it back.